Okay, there we go. Now the cubs are lying just off Mom's head. If they go back to feeding, now they'll be in a good spot. Now, it's actually perfect here because I can show you why this is such a good den site. So if Mom's not here, these little cubs are going to be literally in the most impenetrable little ravine. So it's probably about nearly a meter deep. And you can just see there's porcupine bushes, dalbergias, zebra woods that are just so thick. And there's a tiny little ravine in there that literally, even if you were looking for them, you wouldn't see them inside that. Looks like they're napping. I can't really see them. Brian, how's your view? Now Torsten's wondering what would happen if the pride were to meet the cubs before the female introduced them to them. Well, the reason the females wait a little bit to introduce them is not so much that they're going to kill them or eat them, it's just that they're a bit boisterous with them. Specifically because there are other cubs that are a bit older, they tend to be a little bit more rough. So they need to be of a sort of certain age and strength that they are able to deal with the joys of living in a large family. Right, Brian, we go back to the first spot. Yeah, I think the first spot was better. We're just trying to see if we could get you a better view. Oh, Brian wants me to stop. He's seen something. Oh, there we go. They're going to join Mom. Hello, cutenesses. Right. Not the most coordinated. Well, it's definitely been a lion safari today. James with the sticks, us with the Nkuhuma and cubs. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl's wondering at what age are lion cubs safe from a takeover of males. Well, male cubs are never safe, but female cubs, they have to be probably about 3 years old to be safe from a pride takeover. They have to be nearing their first proper estrus cycle for mating. Anything younger than that, and the males will kill them. Is that a very slow stalk we're witnessing? Yes, it was. That was a very, very clumsy stalk and pounce, but practice nonetheless when it gets bigger and it starts to jump on things like buffalo. Okay. What do you think, Brian? Let's go around where I think we were going to get a much clearer view of them. Okay, while we move into the spot where I think we're going to get the best view of those cubs, let's go back to James.
We're not quite in the clearings yet, everybody, so you can join us as we go into them. Just up ahead here. We'll see what's in them. Viam just posed a very good question to me, and he said to me, did I think that the quarantine male leopard would lose his popularity if he was to burst from the bushes and catch one of those lion cubs? And I said to him, I thought amongst some viewers, yes, he might lose his popularity, but others would be vociferous in their defense of him. I'm sure that he's a real danger to them. You know, he lurks around here quite a lot. If he came across those lion cubs, no, he would take them to pieces. Probably all of them. Be nice to see him. Not there. Maybe around where we are now. Right, the great swathe of open areas about to open up in front of us, everybody. I hope you're ready for it. Do not be intimidated by the space. Here we go. We're going to burst into the open. You ready, Viam? Deathly silence from behind me. You can read the thoughts. The thoughts thinking, what an idiot. Oh, big bump. And here we are. Oh, southern black tit nearly got run over. And we'll roll gently into the clearings. It always feels like you've come to another world. Look at that opening out in front of us there. Isn't that nice? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous view. Now we'll see if we can find some jackals, or some cheetahs, or some ostriches. Right, now I'm going to do the ostrich attraction dance, and well, I'm just going to get a little bit further into the clearings here, and then I shall do it for you, everybody. I hope you're ready for it. And maybe the ostriches, will you warn me if the ostriches come, please? Because I won't be able to see them while I'm in the middle. This is my first attempt, so it's probably quite a good idea that we do it while there aren't any actual ostriches around. Okay, here we are. Going to do it in that clearing over there. Now everybody, I'm taking my life in my hands here, of course. That is what we do at Safari Live, for your edification and viewing pleasure. Okay, Viam, are you ready? Okay, right. Now what you do when you see an emu in Australia is you do the following. And we're wondering if it will work for ostriches. I'm genuinely going to do this next time I see an ostrich. But this is my first practice. It probably helps if you're a bit taller than I am. So you lie down on your back, lift your legs in the air. How's my form, Viam?
It's good.
And then you start pedaling like this. And what happens is that if you're in Australia, the emus will come towards you. And it seems to be very effective. Now, I'm not going to go any faster, Becca, because what will happen is that I'm tired. My form is better now. So that's how we're going to attract ostriches the next time they arrive. That's enough of that. Ostriches can be quite dangerous, you know, everybody. I suspect that they would be far too bemused to be dangerous, though, if they saw me doing that in front of them. Okay, let's carry on. Let's go down this way. You may have been able to hear the Senegal lapwings going. You don't seem very impressed with my ostrich dance or with my call of the Senegal lapwing.
Your microphone. What are you doing?
Oh, I see. Alright, Brent is in a better position with the lions, and they are infinitely more entertaining than my ostrich dance. Let's go and have a look.
Now, I think that's something I would have paid good money to watch. Unfortunately, the cubs are just playing behind a bush at the moment, but I think they will come back out towards the open behind Mom. They are moving around quite a bit. Look at that. Isn't that just too sweet? And imagine that we found them by the slightest little call, that little while they were arguing over suckling. It's quite a rewarding way to have actually found them from that incredible little call. Now, having tracked lions and lion cubs on foot many times, you don't want to be close enough to hear the little cub moans when you're on foot. That means you're about to be in trouble. Hi Garrett, welcome to Safari Live. Garrett's a new viewer. Garrett's asking, is this dangerous? Well, it has the potential to be dangerous, Garrett, but we drive very carefully, very respectfully around these animals, and also they're very used to us. As you can see, the mom is taking absolutely no notice of us whatsoever, and the cubs are frolicking about with abandon at the moment. Their cubs for up to 3 or 4 days while they go hunting, so they need to produce enough meat to be able to keep producing milk, and in some of those circumstances they do leave their cubs for extended periods. It's not uncommon, it's very, very normal lion behavior. Jacqueline, there we go, spot on. Jacqueline was saying, I've seen a domestic kitten need a mother's nipples to suckle more milk. Do any big cats do this? Well, there we go. You can't really see it, but they do. There we go. Oh, I was doing it a little bit. There we go. But they do need, it just depends on how much milk she's producing and how much she's eaten recently to whether the kneading. You'll notice with lions, kneading normally happens more when the lioness has not eaten, so isn't producing as much milk. Then they will need to try stimulate those nipples. Come on, come play at where we can see you, you little monsters. Now, SJB is wondering, has anyone ever seen a lioness giving birth? There may be 1 or 2 records in the wild, but most of the recorded lion births you will see will be filmed in zoos, where they can set artificial cameras and artificial dens. Now, in the wild, lions utilize some of the most inaccessible little ravines or rocky outcrops and crevices to give birth in. So the chances of actually seeing a wild lion birth are almost zero. To give you an idea, I've lived in the bush my whole life, and I think the closest I've come to seeing a big cat birth was this year when we found Karula, the female leopard, when her cubs were a mere few hours old. That's the closest, and I think that's about the luckiest you're ever going to get out in the wild. Of course, in captivity, one can set up den sites, artificial den sites and stuff for the lions to use and place cameras in there. So if any of those you ever do see filming of lions giving birth, it'll be from captivity. Erin. Erin's 8 years old, and Erin's wondering, are lions born with teeth? They indeed are, Erin. They have a set of milk teeth, and they'll keep those baby teeth till they're about 6 months old. And after that, they will lose them. Or they'll start growing their bigger teeth before that, but obviously by the age of 6 months, most of the baby teeth are out. And it coincides at the age of weaning. And what weaning means, Erin, is the age they stop drinking their mummy's milk. Hi, Thomas. Thomas says, well, if the Nkuhumas and the Sticks were to meet, would they form a super pride, or would all hell break loose? It would be the latter. They're unrelated females, so they're protecting their genetic line, which they do not share. Or if they did share, it's been a very long time since they shared any genetics. So there would be a fight, and the Nkuhumas would more than likely win due to the superior number of females. Now, like male lions will fight over territory, so will females. So the Nkuhumas will defend their territory from the Sticks and vice versa. Well, quickly across to James.
We stopped here, everybody, to look at a wildebeest. And that is very clearly not a wildebeest. It is a side-stripped jackal. Very nice. Looks like a little wolf. And there's another one just behind it. They've decided that we smell funny, and so they're leaving. And quite interestingly, that they were sitting very comfortably with the wildebeest here. There is a wildebeest, but let's just keep an eye on those jackals, because they won't be here for long. That's the female there behind, and the male in front. You can see he's just slightly more solidly bised. See, he's just slightly bigger built than the little one. But she's just as tall as he is. She's beautiful, isn't she? She's pale. That's so cool. And we were asked the other day, of course, why is the jackalberry called the jackalberry? And we know that we've spent a lot of time, that huge flowering jackalberry, on the Mlwamati drainage. Well, them jackals like to eat them berries very much, the side-striped do. And there, a Sloan wildebeest bull. Enjoying the grazing available at Cheetah Plains. There was not one creature in any of the clearings, everyone. We've been through all of them. Just look, they're quite nice to see those dew claws. They're called dew claws, even though they're not claws at all, on the wildebeest's foot there. And they're sort of vestigial hand joints, if you like. Now he's in excellent condition, he really is. He's looking very big and strong. And right now up in the Mara, all of these wildebeest apparently are mating. And these ones here that are clearly not mating, and their mating season is much earlier than the ones in the Mara. Those huge herds of wildebeest that migrate in their massive numbers, apparently up to 1 million. I've read between 1 million and 2 million. How you can have such a vast difference, I'm not really sure. But apparently between 1 and 2 million wildebeest. And that's the same wildebeest as this. Slightly different subspecies, but they could certainly interbreed. That's quite arty, isn't it, Wiem? The green and the, focus pull to the eye there. That's not so much, is it?
I wasn't really doing anything.
No, I'm in the way though. Let me move the car a bit and then we can get a better view. So I must confess that but for the elephants, who I think are looking a little bit ropey at the moment, I think that the rest of the animals have coped admirably well with the drought. There we are. Sorry, Liam. Let me move forward a bit. There. Okay, are you happy? Good. Now that's not disease on the back of that thing, unlike the similar sort of shaded skin. That's just mud, everyone. And very similar mud to the mud that those lions were lying in. Obviously it was a bit wetter when this chap lay in it. But I think also some of the colour on those little lion cubs is brought about by the mud. And that's kind of thick clay stuff that's quite difficult to get off the skin. He of course is in danger on his own here. He'd be better off lurking around with a herd of impala or perhaps some zebra. But I'm sure he knows best, especially as those 3 lazy lionesses are so long away from here. Oh, there's some elephants in front of us. Let's move forward. They've just crossed the road in front of us. A couple of Ellies. Rebecca says she reckons my ostrich kicking dance called many other animals except the ostrich. Well, that doesn't really matter, does it? At least I got something right, she says. Thank you, Rebecca. You may now be quiet. There are elephants everywhere here. Here's a young bull. There are a whole lot to the left of us. Some in front. Beautiful. Much tree to eat. I'm going to move forward. Let's leave that one there because these ones in front are feeding on a green bush and possibly the last green apple leaf that there is here. It's quite interesting to see. Now that poor apple leaf is about to have a very bad evening. Set upon by 3 or 4 elephants. And the rest of the herd is sort of all around us. 1, 2, I can see 2 to the right, 2 in front. So a good sized herd this, and they're feeding through, other than the ones there eating the apple leaf, they're feeding through what is essentially a strychnos woodland, or black monkey thorn woodland. Oh, here comes a vicious fellow. Young bull. Look at the colour, isn't that colour beautiful? Now Dispatch, you asked a question this morning, which I'm going to get back to you about. Well, let's just wait for this bull to come up here. He's doing this because he's bored. We chatted about bored animals this morning. I think he's bored. Bored sitting and eating all day long. Now he wants a bit of entertainment, and here we are to provide it for him. Come on then, come and say hello. Oh, it's such fun. Dispatch, you say, you asked a question about zigzaggy trees, and you say you don't know, or you're explaining now that they are, you meant that the trunks were zigzaggy. I don't know which tree you mean still, but you'll find that a lot of the trunks are not straight, of just about all the trees out here, Dispatch, because of this, because of what you're watching right now. You can see that elephant is breaking that tree, and the trees are adapted to this, so they don't die when they're broken. They just grow up in a different angle. And I think that's why you'll find many of the trees that you're noticing are not the sort of classical oak tree shape, but rather they have either multiple stems or stems that grow in different directions. There's another elephant behind us, one coming to the right there. Paul, you're so right. You say elephants really do brighten up everyone's day. I couldn't agree with you more. I think they're certainly brightening up my day. Felt a little depressed after those lions, to be honest. Now, Willem, do you think I can get him with the sunset? Probably not, hey? Willem, you're so encouraging. That's a she, most definitely. It's not very good, Willem. You want to see it? In fact, it's horrible. Thank you for that. Could you kindly show our viewers something other than my incompetence? Everybody loves to show you my photographs, mostly because they're not in focus, and he finds that quite amusing. Look at the dexterity of the feet. We've watched that a lot this winter. And thank you for all of you who are taking very nice screen grabs, your own form of safari photograph. They're often fantastic. In fact, it's a bit depressing sometimes when you get onto social media and find that the screen grabs that people have taken from the United States and Fiji and Helsinki are, well, better than the ones I've taken from being right here. Lots of digging and a lot of there's probably quite a lot of tannin on those tusks from the breaking off of the trees, and many of the trees of here have tannin under the bark, and that will discolor the teeth. Just keeping an eye behind us to see that nothing sneaks up there. Doesn't seem to be. Interestingly, that apple leaf doesn't seem, they seem to have left it alone. They're clearly not that enthralled by what it has to offer them, and would rather be eating the bark off the dry combretum bushes. Hello, Lynn. You want to know if I ever post my pictures? I do, Lynn. I post about one a day on my Instagram account. I'll tell you about 2 Instagram accounts. Mine is James R.A. Hendry, if you want to look at my average photographs. I post one once a day. Well, mostly, if I've got something worth posting. And then another one you should follow, kind of tongue-in-cheek, Eggsy. Eggsy, our new cameraman and editor, has started basically an Instagram account called Eggsy on Safari, and I don't know why this is so funny, but basically he will be posting blurry pictures, so I will be able to give him many of mine to post on his account. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but the hashtag is blurry safaris. I should probably have the hashtag laxative safaris, because every animal we go past goes to the loo. I don't think any of these elephants have. Yeah, maybe I've lost my touch.
It's a bit scarce.
Yes. So you say, have I had a chance to see if any of the animals react to music? I have. Brian and I did a beatbox and a rap once to Nkuhuma male leopard, Karula's son, and he was very unhappy with us. He came charging at us, in fact, and well, he sort of took 2 steps towards us and was growling rather viciously, so we didn't try it with him again. Then we tried it with Karula once, she too took great offence, and she didn't charge us, but she growled and then walked off. So they don't like beatboxing and rap. I don't know, VM, do you want to give the trumpet voluntary to the elephants? VM is an excellent trumpet player, everybody. Right, here we go. Let's see what they do. And once more. It's very nice. They seem to be quite happy to listen to some Rossini out here on Cheetah Plains. Okay, I want to go from here to 3 in a row pan, which is just around the corner. And we'll see if Quarantine is there, and if he is, well, we might do him a bit of a rap and perhaps some William Tell overture. Right, Dispatch, you say the mystery is solved. You have found, a friend of yours has sent you a picture of an acacia tree. You say that's the zigzaggy tree. Well, I'm glad you found it. Let's head across to Brent. He is off Facebook and he is with the lions.
So we've got a last few moments with the precious Nkuhuma Cubs. The sun is dipping below the western horizon, and we're not going to stay here as it gets darker. But all cubs have stopped shenanigans and are tucking in for an early evening meal. So we're going to leave the lions exactly how we found them, doing the exact same thing. But that was a couple of hours ago, but it has been splendid being around with the Nkuhuma Lioness and the 3 youngest cubs. Now I'm hoping the rest of them make an appearance tomorrow or even later on this sunset safari. And in a very peaceful and tender moment, we shall leave the Nkuhumas and see what else we're going to be able to find out here in the glorious African bush. Okay, bye-bye Nkuhumas. Now Kaiser's wondering how many lion cubs can feed at one time. Well, Kaiser, 4 is the maximum, but they will try. I have seen 6 try feed at the same time. I've seen 8 try feed at the same time, which generally produces quite an entertaining scene. So while we leave this peaceful scene, let's go back to James until we're back on the road.
Well, that was a short little trip with the lions to say goodnight to them, and I'm sure you were very happy to see them looking in fine fettle in comparison with the ones we saw a little bit earlier. Now, we're approaching a 3 in a row pan and wondering if there isn't perhaps quarantine male leopard there. And then VM can play him a trumpet voluntary as well. See if he likes music any more than his brother. I mean, to be fair, I don't blame his brother for disliking the rap. I'm not a particular fan myself. He's probably more into the classics. We see him again, never. We'll be sure to maybe do him some classical stuff, maybe one or two rock songs. Maybe he's into the sort of classic rock. Definitely not into the rap, though. Right, here we are at the pans. Let's have a look-see. Now, everyone else in the whole world seems to have seen this leopard at these pans. He apparently has a favourite marula tree. He is not in it now. And he also has a favourite termite mound on which I'm hoping he will be lying. No, nothing just yet. Liam, you're going to have to play your trumpet to something else, I'm afraid. Perhaps a terrapin will pop out and you can play your trumpet to him. No, no terrapins even. So apparently this is his favourite marula tree, everybody, just not when we're around. And you can just, if we pan off there, you can maybe see the last embers of the sun just before it disappears. There it is. Oh, look at it, Liam. Well done. Good job. It's just disappearing to the west behind the Drakensberg Mountains, the great dragon's back. Dragon. Pretoria?
No.
Not in the mountains.
No.
You're just not here. Fair enough. Oh dear. Can't go there. We're going to turn around. It's always a little awkward when this happens. I will explain, everybody. But there are those of which we do not speak or show. And so that is all I'm going to say. I'm just going to carry on now. Quarantine's still not here, Viam. You see that? No. I think the moon will probably be full in about 3 or 4 nights' time. And then Viam will become a werewolf. That's why he's got such an impressive beard. Not so, Viam. A were-leopard, he says. He's a were-leopard. He's not a werewolf at all. Ah. Well, that's a terrifying thing indeed. A trumpet playing were-leopard. Absolutely terrifying. Right, let's put some lights on. I tell you, everybody, the hodgepodge of absolutely mad eccentricity we have living in this camp. Well, you'd struggle to find more in Bedlam. Righty, we're going to head now back towards home along a road called Ingwe Road, which means Leopard Road. Hopefully there will be a leopard there on it. You might just be able to hear in the background the red-crested kohan going. And it will shortly fly up into the air to show its suicide display to all the other males in the area. Otherwise, I've got to tell you, not a huge amount going on here at Cheetah Plains at the moment, and I suspect it's on account of the fact that much of the area has been denuded of vegetation during the course of the drought. But as I say, I don't think the animals are doing too badly at all, except for the elephants, looking a bit rough, and those little lion cubs. And as I said to the Facebook audience today, the great thing about Safari Live is you can watch these stories unfolding day in and day out. We have a chance to actually watch the stories of the animals unfold. I'm going to look up on this mound here, everyone, just before it gets too dark. I'll tell you why. It's because it's got a jackalberry on it, but you can see the jackalberry is almost like a creeper. And I'm wondering if it isn't fruiting. If something comes shooting out of that hole, you will film it, will you? Thank you. Perhaps you could warn me. I think this is a male tree, or just one that's been so badly damaged that it's unable to produce fruit. There's another one here. You know what? Can you still hear me, Vim? Everyone, this is unbelievable. I'm standing now on the main trunk of what was an enormous jackalberry. An enormous tree of diameter, probably about 3 feet. Now, I suspect it was struck by lightning or blown over by wind, because I don't think elephants could have pushed it over. It's too big. But the rest of these things here, all of these jackalberries, which look I'm almost certain that they have grown up as a result of that big tree being pushed over. Which means that all of the trees that you can see on this mound are in fact one organism. They're one plant. I think that's absolutely incredible. Don't you, Viam? Look that amazed, I must confess to you. I'll put it down to the fact that, you know, as a were leopard, you're just not particularly emotional. All I got from Rebecca was, blah blah update, very cool. I think that means that we're supposed to go to Brent, is that correct? Right, let's go across to Brent.
So if Liam turns into a were leopard, what does Brian Joubert turn in? Brian, what do you turn into?
The were thumb.
Oh, the were thumb! Be fair, fear the were thumb! 2 days hence shall we see a were thumb, I fear for my life. But jokes aside, we're going to head now back towards the northern edge of our traverse area and start heading to the west. And I'm hoping that the rest of the Nkuhuma Pride are going to pop out at some point. They can't keep hiding for this long. On a positive note, we definitely know they haven't gone into Buffalo's Hook. We've checked that area extensively. I'm hoping for a little late afternoon leopard as we marched off to the west. But we'll have to suffice with a late afternoon zebra. Oh, a late afternoon zebra that's mobile to Buffalo's Hook. Bye-bye, zebra. It is now a Buffalo's Hook zebra, no longer a Djuma zebra. Oh, there's another one. Now, they're probably going to try head down towards the waterhole. We're not far from Buffalo's Hook Dam, and they're not looking that relaxed. So we're not going to pressurize them. Hello, Michael, who's 13, who watches Safari Live with his family all the time. Well, lovely to have you with us, Michael, and the rest of your family, of course. Now, Michael's wondering, why do zebras have shadow stripes? Well, Michael, it's probably to do with the camouflage, so that black-white with a slight brownish stripe will help break them up. But other zebras, and depending on the area, don't have such prominent shadow stripes, and another species of zebra that lives up in northern Kenya, the gravy zebra, has no shadow stripes, but their stripes are much closer together, so that's probably why they don't have. Okay. The long road to the west. What are you going to produce for us today, Buffalo's Hook Cutline? Okay. Now, it has been a wonderful afternoon so far. Now, Harold has got very good questions. Is how many miles of roads or kilometers of roads? Kyle, sorry. Carol. Sorry about that, Carol. Carol. Hi, Carol. How many miles of roads? I'd probably say about 150. Don't work out in kilometers, about 200, no, maybe less than that. Maybe 120 to 130 miles. I will try find out the exact figure for you. I'm sure somewhere someone has got that little gem of information. But in the whole Sabi Sands, well, a lot more. I'm just talking about the area that we traverse. So Djuma, Arathusa, and Cheetah Plains. Hi, Wendy. Well, Wendy thought our traverse areas are in the Kruger Park. Well, they are. Well, they're in the Greater Kruger, Wendy. The Sabi Sands Game Reserve is about 125,000 acres, and it borders the Kruger Park. And there, why we say the Greater Kruger, hello, Ellies, is because there's no fence between us and the Kruger. So the animals are open to meander between the two, but it is called the Greater Kruger National Park. What are you up to, you little horror? Oh, it seems to be very much a baby day for us. Baby zebra, baby lions, baby elephant. Now, hasn't quite mastered the use of the trunk, so I think he's just having a scratch and a play on the little bank there. Wondering where all the elephants had got to this evening. I haven't even heard any. How incredibly cute before they've got their full use of their trunk. Sticking close to Mom there. Oh. Because that little elephant's not reliant on finding his own food, he's got time to play. So you find it's seldom that adult animals play too much. They're more concentrated on survival, getting enough nutrients, feeding. But of course that little one is getting all the nutrients he needs from Mom, so that gives him ample time to act like a buffoon. Is it? It is. Is it short trunk? Oh, it is short trunk. Hello, girl. I haven't seen you in a while. What are you doing, you little horror? Now, you heard me say short trunk. This female's got a short trunk, and it's a herd we see quite regularly. And her little calf looks to be in high spirits. And she might. A very, very relaxed herd of elephants we know very well, so they might even come closer to us while we sit here and observe them. Now, it's quite important with elephants, even elephants you know and see regularly that aren't normally very relaxed. Rather let them come to you than you force yourself into their space. Michelle is wondering, is this Benji? No, unfortunately not, Michelle. Benji's with a different herd. This is the half-trunk herd. So that adult female we're looking at there, she's got a shortened trunk. She probably got injured when she was much younger. So she doesn't have the prehensile tip that most elephants have, and her trunk's a little bit shorter, but she has managed to adapt incredibly to utilize her trunk, even though she is at a slight disadvantage compared to the other elephants. There's a few more directly behind her feeding as well. Let me just have a look. Okay. Now, at the back of her right front leg, you might see a bit of discoloration there. And I'm sure a couple of people got worried that it was a wound. It's not. It's actually a bit of color coming off the cambium layer of bark where she's used her foot to dig out a root. And it's turned into an absolutely exquisite evening. The wind's died down, not a cloud in the sky. Barred owlets calling in the background. Oh, pearl spotted joining in. Yeah, that barred owlet.
Changing mobile and stuff.
Just Cumberland Love, Bovers of Cutline Junction, Gary Cutline. Here you go, here comes the little one. Hello, little monster. Looks like a little boy. Don't get left behind. Now, you can hear that, what sounds to be a pearl-spotted eyelet. I think that's a bit too high-pitched. What do you think, Brian?
I think it's a drongo.
I think it's a fork-tailed drongo mimicking a pearl-spotted eyelet. Let me just move the vehicle so you can see the Ellies a bit better. Maybe a bit further back. Well, a huge Safari Live welcome. Oh, there's a bit of elephant chasing elephant action going on there. Let's go forward again. There we go. A huge Safari Live welcome to Vanna, who's in South Africa, but he's a student at the University of Potchefstroom, and he's originally from Polokwane in Limpopo province. And he says he loves watching Safari Live. It reminds him of being in the bush. Well, great to have you on board with us, Vanna. So we know the half-trunk herd quite well. I think this is more than one herd. I think there's a couple of different herds in here. Now, it's not uncommon for herds to join and separate as they move through, but I'm pretty sure a half-trunk herd is normally about 4 individuals, and there's at least 15 or 20 that I can hear in the bushes behind, and a couple of adults I don't recognize. So I'm pretty sure that there's multiple family groups in this area. Oh! Now, I can't really see it. It's quite dark, but the one on the left is definitely a female. And it looks like a young male is the one who's causing the havoc. It could be just a bit of playfulness, a bit of greeting, or he could be trying to move her off that food source. But no, I think this just looks a bit more like, hi, how you doing? Haven't had a chat in a while. How things going? Tough drought we're having, isn't it? Where's the best water around at the moment? No, of course, I am joking. So these young bulls can become quite boisterous, and that's generally why they get reprimanded by the adult cows quite often. Is it a cow, though? I can't really see, sorry. Let's just have a look what happens here. So I feel the female on the left is becoming a little bit more aggressive. Look at that pose. Let me lay my trunk on my forehead. No, it is a young boy. Now let's see how long the female will let him behave like this before she gets even more aggressive. Naughty. So he's probably just under 20 or around 20 or so. And you can see he's already a bit bigger than this adult female that he's busy harassing at the moment. But she's not too upset. But that can change very quickly. You hear their tusks knocking together. Now she's backing away from the area she was feeding. Or was that another young boy? It's two young boys, I think. Oh, it's two young boys. Sorry, I misread that completely. He's got a very angular head, the one on the left. But it is indeed a boy. So normally, as you can see, definitely a boy. So it's two young boys. So this is just normal shenanigans from two teenagers. How's that, Brian? So they're just playing. Now, this will obviously be quite important later in life when they get old enough to compete for mating rights with females. I thought it was quite tolerant of a female to let this guy push her around that much. But it is two young boys, but the boy on the right is bigger. Sneak attack. It's not all about size, it's about a bit of tactics there. It's just too wonderful to watch. Give up, no, you give up. They're biting the other way. He's biting. That's cheating. You're not allowed to bite when you're fighting. Naughty. I'm just going to chew your face for a little bit. So you can see this is not too much aggression in this. This is more play. Now, like with most wild animals, as I said, the play is very important for later in life when these challenges will become a bit more serious. I don't think when challenging for females you're going to be able to chew the other bull's face. Who's going to give up first? So the bull on the right is a bit bigger, probably a couple of years older. They're quite similarly aged. Oh, here we go. It's like a fencing match. Who is going to make the first parry? Oh, there we go. Lunge. Oh, there we go. That was a bit more. When I say a bit more serious, it's not really serious at all. It's just two teenagers fooling about. Now, of course, when you're the size of an elephant, trees get broken in the process. Now, someone's got to come around the tree or push the tree onto the other. Oh, we have a standoff. who is going to make the next move. I'm going to try to push the tree onto you. While you do that, I'll sneak attack from the side. Denise is wondering who is the referee in this situation. Well, if one really didn't want to and the other's bigger, it would just normally run away. But the bigger one seems to let, the one on the right seems to let the little one win some, so if it was too dominant, the other one would stop playing. We don't want to be a tree or a bush when two young elephant bulls decide to start having a bit of fun. Yeah, the ivory knocking together. And the trees being flattened. And the rest of the herd feeding very sedately around. But unfortunately we are running out of light. And we're not going to be able to see them clearly for too much longer. But we will try. Let's see. Come back closer to us. Okay, well, what a fantastic way to end the sunset safari. Oh, here he comes. See how strong I am, I can break branches. Oh, yes. Well, I'm strong too. Don't underestimate me. But I'm backing off because I'm done now. And it's nearly time to be done with the show. And it's been great having you all with us. We're going to stick with me so I can just go bye and then back to the elephants in case something happens. But a goodbye from James, myself and everyone as they disappear into the darkness. I'm quite sure these two boys look like they're going to continue on. Unfortunately, we're right at the limit of our camera at the moment. But don't forget to join us for the sunrise safari early tomorrow morning.